The Zero Coast is a single-voice patchable synthesizer. Its name reflects the fact that it utilizes techniques from both the Moog and Buchla paradigms, aka East Coast and West Coast due to their locations, but is loyal to neither and thus implements no-coast synthesis. Because the O-Coast can be played by a keyboard, it is easy to integrate into musical ensembles with more traditional instruments. The MIDI input also makes it easy to integrate into a modern electronic studio, whether alongside other hardware or controlled and recorded by a digital audio workstation. And of course, the CV gate and audio inputs and outputs conform to the Eurorack standard and can be cross-patched with a Make Noise shared system or any other Eurorack modular synthesizer. The No-Coast consists of several discrete circuits that can be patched together in the style of a modular synthesizer and controlled by MIDI and/or control voltage. However, unlike modules, these circuits are wired together under the hood to allow the use of the O-Coast without any patch cables at all. And unlike many pre-patched or even semi-modular synthesizers, all the existing connections are indicated graphically by gold lines on the panel. This can be helpful for the beginner in understanding how the connections work, and also useful to the experienced synthesist, as a quick, intuitive reminder when using or breaking connections. In general, the No-Coast's front end or sound source is inspired by West Coast designs, while the back end, contour and dynamic circuits, are inspired by East Coast designs. The use of a 4-stage envelope shaper, contour, and a fast dynamic circuit that will accurately respond to a 4-stage envelope shows an interest in the instrument being played with the manual organ-style keyboard. The sound starts with the oscillator circuit, which is triangle core with a wide-range pitch knob. Since the triangle wave has very few harmonics, sound sculpting is done by adding harmonics to the raw waveform instead of subtracting them. This primitive additive technique is an important part of West Coast synthesis. The overtone circuit uses both the square and triangle waveforms from the oscillator to add even and odd harmonics to the fundamental. The resulting timbral palette can then be multiplied to generate additional harmonically related overtones. It is possible for the result to be so harmonically rich that the fundamental frequency is relatively obscured, so a balance control is also provided. This control crossfades between the output of the multiply circuit and the triangle core that supplies a strong fundamental frequency. From oscillator to overtone to multiply to balance, we have a great deal of control over the harmonic content of the waveform. After the balance circuit is the dynamic circuit, which controls the amplitude and brightness of the output. You may notice that we are using one patch cable right now. This cable is using a steady voltage from the control processor to hold the dynamic circuit open so that we can hear the output without having to hold a key down. We'll patch the MIDI keyboard into the MIDI input jack. Each MIDI note consists of a note on, note off, and note pitch. Pitch is wired directly to the pitch control. Note on and note off mark the beginning and ending of a gate, which is wired to the contour circuit. In other words, play a key, hear a note. Contour is a 4-stage function or envelope generator using 3 controls like the loudness contour on a mini Moog. Onset time, sustain level. Decay time works similarly to the decay and release settings in an ADSR envelope generator. The dynamic circuit takes inspiration from both Buchla and Moog. Like a West Coast style low-pass gate, the circuit does some mild low-pass filtering, softening the timbre as it decreases in amplitude. However, unlike a low-pass gate, the dynamic circuit does not use a Vactral. Because of this, it is more immediately responsive and can be controlled more tightly by the contour circuit. The No-Coast also contains a 2-stage function generator called Slope. This circuit, like its ancestors in the Buchla 281 and Surge USG, can be used as a one-shot triggered function or a variable shape LFO. Without patching, it is normal to the multiply CV input, as shown by the gold wire. There is also a tappable clock, which drives a stepped random voltage and sets the rate for the internal arpeggiator. Using the clock to trigger the slope circuit, slope to control dynamics, and random to control pitch gives us the beginnings of a more traditionally West Coast playstyle. The section below the random and clock is a control processor that allows advanced modular techniques such as voltage addition, subtraction, offset, amplification, and multing. We'll go into these techniques in a future video. The CV inputs on the OCOAST can accommodate any type or rate of signal. For example, the audio rate square wave from the oscillator section can be used to modulate, overtone, or multiply. Just like on a modular synthesizer, you can patch anything to anything else, making complete demonstration of all possibilities impossible. The Zero Coast has many options under the hood, including alternate arpeggio mode and MIDI outputs. We will cover the program pages in a future video. For more information, visit MakeNoiseMusic.com.